All right, like to say all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah, double honors to the elders at Great Millstone. Honor to all the brethren out here doing the work in the will of the Father in truth and sincerity. It's your boy Ariyah, back with another one. You know how we do it, we go straight in. All right, so this First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. Now concerning these things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. So, when you in this truth, it's good to actually be single. Why is that? Because when you in this truth, when you're dealing with these women or men, depending if you're a woman or a man in this truth, it causes problems because you may have a woman that don't believe, or you may have a man that don't believe. So it builds up a lot of strife within the household. So that's why he's saying it is good for a man not to touch a woman. All right, because of this matter. But then it says, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Exactly. So if you know you're going to have that burning sensation, if you know you're going to have that hard time when you need sex, then, hey, by all means, go out and get you a wife. Go out and get you a husband. So you can avoid what? Fornication. Meaning going out and sleeping with this man and this woman. You know what I'm saying? Just out there fornicating. Because that's not what you're supposed to do, man. Especially as a woman. That man that you choose to deal with, that is your man for life, man. Unless he dies. Point blank, period. Whether he's a believer or non-believer. You have to deal with that man until he dies. Simple. You can't deal with no other man. As you're gonna see as we continue to read. But for a man, when you out here, you dealing with these women, the women of our nation. Now, if you're dealing with some heathens, you could put their ass away. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't shit. But the women of our nation, when you deal with them, you have to be very careful, because when you're dealing with them, you are indeed getting a wife, man. So when you dealing with an Israelite woman, and you so-called trying to, go out here and deal with all these different women, if you're dealing with Israelite women in that matter, then you going off, man, because each one of the women that you dealt with, you actually making them become your wives. Now, if you don't stand in that lot as their husbands, and then they go out and they sleep with other men, guess what? You just made them commit. You just helped them commit adultery, man. All right, so headed to verse 3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence. I think I said that word right. Which is basically saying, let the husband, have sex. You know what I'm saying, with the wife. Lay the pipe down, man. Give the woman what's due to her, man. If she burning, satisfy the fire. And likewise also the wife unto the husband. Exactly. If your husband is burning, satisfy the fire, man. Alright? You don't supposed to be holding. See a lot of women, they do this shit too. They hold their sex away from their husbands to try to so-called punish the man. Which that shit is going off, man. If that man is burning, you're supposed to you're supposed to quench that man's fire. And the same thing with the man towards the woman. Verse 4. The wife have not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise, also the husband have not power over his own body, but the wife. Exactly. So you're supposed to be holding your 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 ride hostage. You don't supposed to be holding your juice box hostage, man. That's going off. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time. See though? Now if y'all come together and y'all say, all right, we ain't gonna have sex this day or this day, hey, I mean by all means, then y'all could do that. Why? Because it was consent. So defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourself to fasting, or if you're going to do a fast and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your inconsistency. Exactly. So these are the only times that you're supposed to hold yourself, your sexual parts hostage, man. When it's for a consent of time, man. When y'all have came together and said, all right, these days we ain't gonna have sex, but it has to be consensual. All right, both parties have to agree. Or if it's during a fast or prayer, all right, or the Sabbaths. That's the only time that you do that, man. Verse 6. But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. So what you about to hear now is not a commandment. It's just by permission. So it's just wise words. All right. For I would that all men were even as I myself. So this is not a commandment for men. This is just wise words. All right. For I would that all men were even as I myself. But every man have his proper gift of God, one after this manner, and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. Exactly. So this is not a commandment to stay single or to be single when you're in this truth. But this is another route. This is wisdom that he is speaking upon. He's basically saying, look, in this truth, it may, you know what I'm saying, help you if you just were single. It come out better for you if you single. All right, in this truth. But verse 9, but if they cannot contain, let them marry. Exactly. But if you can't contain that burning in you, that sexual desire, then guess what? If you can't be single as me and walk in this life as me as being single, then hey, go out and get you a wife. Go out and get you a husband. For it is better to marry than to burn. Verse 10. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. So now, this is not him giving you wisdom. Now he's giving you what? Commandments. All right, of the Lord, man. So now he's finna give you a commandment. Let not the wife depart from her husband. You see that? So you Israelite woman, you cannot depart from your husband, man. That man that's in your life, that is your man for life. Unless he is put to death. Verse 11. But if she depart, Salakia. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried. See that? So if indeed you separate yourself, guess what? You got to remain unmarried. Why? Because your husband is your husband for life. As long as he's walking this earth, you're his. So even if you depart from him, you have to remain unmarried. or what? Or be reconciled or be brought back to your husband, to her husband. And let not the husband put away his wife. Exactly. So when you in this truth, if you a man and you dealing with a woman and she's not a believer, you can't put her away because she's not a believer. Alright? You can't just be like, alright, I'm done with you. No. That's your wife. It's just like I said with the wife. You can't remove yourself from your husband. That's your husband. So yeah, you could depart, but guess what? You got to stay single. You can't deal with no other man. The only man that you could deal with is who? That man that's your husband. That's it. So although you may not be in the same, although you may be separated, meaning no longer living in the same house as that man, guess what? That man is still your damn husband, man. And if you go out and you get with another man, guess what you just done? You just committed adultery. That's what you just done. Verse 12. But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. So now he's giving you wisdom. Now he's not giving you commandment. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. Exactly. So, man, if you got a wife and she don't believe in the truth, but she ain't holding you back from doing the truth, she ain't getting in your way, she just let you do your thing, let you be you, and guess what? Don't put her don't put her away. And the woman which have a husband that believeth not, if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. Exactly. So, woman, if your man ain't in the truth, but he loves you and he pleased to dwell with you, meaning he ain't causing you all kind of, meaning he ain't getting in your way. You know what I'm saying? Well, he may be getting in your way, but he just wants to be with you. Then you can't, ain't nothing you could do. Like, you just got to deal with that lot. That's the lot that the Most High put you in, man. And you will be able to deal with it if you part of the elect in the 1/3. You'll deal with that situation. All right. Same thing with the man. Like, you could be in this truth and have a, and I could speak to this myself because I was in this lot once upon a time. When you in this truth as a man, your wife may not be a believer, and she may cause you all kind of problems and griefs, be trying to stop you from teaching the truth and everything. But guess what? You can't put her away, man. You got to deal with it. Just deal with that lot, because eventually, guess what's going to happen? So like the Most High is going to put it on her spirit to just leave, or she's going to go out and commit adultery to where you could give her a bill of divorce. All right, that's what's going to happen, man. Because a wicked woman is given to a wicked man. So if you continue to stay on the journey, stay on the path, the Most High is going to clear that wicked woman out of your life, man. Or if not, she may just become a believer. She may turn into a believer. And that's why you can't just put her away. Salakia. Verse 14. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. Exactly, man. Exactly. So that's why that's so important, man. Like I said, you could be, you know what I'm saying, if everything is cool between you and your significant other, you could sanctify them by your belief. Verse 15. But if the unbelieving depart, and see, that's what happened with me. And that's why I said I could speak on this. See? But if the unbelieving depart, see, the woman that I was dealing with, she departed from me. I didn't put her away. She departed. Why? Because she couldn't deal with the truth. She hated everything about it. So she left my ass. Alright? But I didn't put her away. See? But her being unbelieving, she departed herself. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases. See that? But God have called us to peace. See that? See, the Most High took the wicked woman out of my life. Why? Because I was no longer wicked. And he called me to peace. So that's how that goes. For what knowest, verse 16, for what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? See that? And that's why you just can't put away your wife or your husband that's an unbeliever. You can't put them away. Let them put themselves away. Like the scripture just said. Now, if they choose to leave, then hey, that's on them. They chose to leave. But you yourself don't do it, man. All right, because who knows if that man that you with is going to believe, or if that woman that you with is going to become a believer. Verse 17, but as God have distributed to every man, as the Lord have called every one, so let him walk. And so ordain I in all churches. So that's what it's about, man. So hopefully you got understanding on that. Hopefully this helped out. Because on the elders did a video concerning putting away your wives, or trying to put away your husband. All right. So basically the understanding of this is, if you're a woman, you're stuck with that man unless he's put to death. That's the only way you are no longer connected to that man. If you go out, well, first off, that's if you in this truth. All right. So if you in this truth, and you married, and then you call yourself going to separate from that man and try to find you another man, guess what? You're going off. You're committing adultery. You yourself have to deal with that man until he is put to death. Or you could leave, but you must stay single. You can't deal with another man. You must stay single. You must just you just have to give yourself up to Yahweh Basham and Yahweh Shai. And that's who you deal with. Or if you have that burning sensation, then guess what? You got to go back to your husband. You got to go back to him. You can't deal with another man. All right, man, the husband. You can't deal with your wife as if she's a heathen. You can't deal with these Israelite women, put it that way, as if she's a heathen. You just can't go out here popping all these different Israelite women and thinking it's okay. No, that's not what you do, man. Because you are fornicating when you do that, and you are causing those Israelite women that you are dealing with to go commit adultery. That's when you dealing with this truth. All right. So you, as a man in the truth, you should know that, hey, the women that you deal with, you have to really know that before you stick your ride in them. Like this woman, when I stick my ride in her, is essentially, well, not essentially, is your wife, man. That's what you got to come to grips with. The woman that you stick your ride in, hey, that's your wife. So that's why the Most High called this. I mean, Yahweh Shah called this generation an adulterous generation, man. Because you being an Israelite man, you may say to yourself, all right, this is gonna be my wife, and then you have, you know what I'm saying, you have sex with this wife, but then this woman that you dealing with, she may not even know nothing about the truth, and then she just out. She probably just wanted some ride, and then she out and she on to the next one. But that's not on you. That's on her. All right. So she chose to take that route. She's choosing to go on that sinful route, not you. Now, if you dealing with if you in this truth and you already got your wife, and y'all bumping heads because you in the truth and she ain't, you can't put her away, man. You just got to deal with it, and eventually, the Most High want you away from that wicked woman. He's gonna get you away from her. He's gonna put it in her head to do exactly what I just told you. The example of that last woman, they just gonna leave, all right, and they're gonna go out and do what they want to do, and at that point, guess what? You freed up, man. The Most High just gave you peace. But if that's not the case, and the woman continue to deal with you and have not committed any sins worth divorce, then you have to deal with her. And who knows she may become a believer, as the scripture said. So it's a tricky, well, not a tricky thing. Like it's an understandable thing, but a lot of people get tripped up about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically the guidelines of this thing, man. So once again, woman that's in this truth, if you have a husband, that is your husband. You can't come into this truth and then because your husband don't believe, you can't be like, well, I'm gonna go get my husband that's in the truth. No, that is your husband. All right, whether he believe or not, that's your husband. And the only way you can get a bill of divorce is if he's put to death. All right. Now you can separate from him, but guess what? If you separate from him, guess what? You still got to be single. You can't deal with another man. And if you feel like you need to deal with a man, guess what? You can only deal with him. That's how it goes. Man, if your wife is not a believer and Salakia, and she's causing you grief, causing you troubles, guess what? You got to deal with it. You can't put her away. That's your wife. You just got to deal with it. Now, if she goes out and commit adultery, then hey, you give her ass a bill of divorce. But if she doesn't do that, you got to deal with that woman until she is fed up with it. Until the Most High put the spirit on her that she can't deal with it no more. And then if she can't deal with it and she leaves you, then hey, she leaves you. And her ass gonna be destroyed, man. Alright? That's how it goes, man. So hopefully this helped out. And man, can't forget about this part. An Israelite man, you can't be dealing with these Israelite women and just popping them, man. You could do that to the heathen women, but to the Israelite woman, you can't do that. But to the Israelite woman, you can't do that. You gotta understand, when you're dealing with these Israelite women, you're dealing with your wives. All right. So before you choose to stick your ride in an Israelite woman, or so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American woman, you gotta understand that when you're doing that, she is considered your wife in the Most High's eyes. So now you have to be careful on who you popping, man, and when you popping, and what you doing, man. And like I said, although that woman you may pop, she may not believe, and she may just be wanting some ride. She may get the hell on and just dish your ass. If that's what happens, then guess what? That's not on you. That's on her. Because if she go deal with another man, that's her committing adultery. But you must realize and take into account what type of women you're dealing with, man, and think more about the women you are pursuing. So with that, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone, on the child of brethren out here doing the work in the will of the Father in truth, sincerity. Shalom.